Hey, it's Del from Let's Get Inkie, and today I've got a little working in my traveler's notebook on my 100-day project video for you today. And I shall warn you, I have Archie in the room with me. I've got High Five on mute on the television. He's quite distracted by the colours at the moment, and I'm hoping it's going to stay like that. But if you hear a few noises, it's just a little dude in the background. So these are the final, I think it's about 8 pages in my 100-day project. If you haven't seen, I have a video introducing the 100-day project, what I'm doing, the supplies I'm using, and I also have some flip-throughs up, and I also have another working in my traveler's notebook video up. I'll put all the links in the description below, but basically for 100 days, if you're new to my channel, I wrote a letter to my little toddler, and I'm going to give it to him when he's old and can value paper goods, because right now we're going through a bit of a ripping stage. He also likes to steal my craft supplies and run away laughing, and he's staring at me right now like he knows I'm talking about him, but he doesn't know what I'm talking about. So I have this little container that I keep on my embellishment Rascog trolley that I keep right next to my desk, and it's really handy because I'm a bit of a lazy paper crafter, and it's difficult for me to put things back where they belong or sort things very often. And so I have this little container. It's kind of a catch-all for leftover embellishment. So if I get something in a kit club and I only use half of a packet, I just shove the rest of it in this little container, and it's good because I can use it later on, and B, it's handy because it's right next to my desk. Now here I did something very silly. I wrote out my journaling for that day and then realized it was for the previous day. So I had gone through and I wrote in my phone little notes every day because, of course, the 100-day project has finished. It finished on, I think it was July 12th. And we're now in August, and so I'm a little bit behind, and I'll talk about that another time, why I got behind and how I coped with catching back up again. But I wrote out all of my letter and realized that it was talking about the things that I'd already talked about on the page beforehand. It was all about getting him new shoes, so I just painted over it with black and then chucked a big label sticker over the top, and we're all good. So now I'm on to the next page, and I have had to speed this up quite a lot because it took me probably an hour and a half to finish this page. Do you want to say hello? Do you want to say, yeah, that's my microphone. He's obsessed with my microphone, I think because it has a big fluffy black bit on the edge of it, and he just wants to eat it. Yeah, so this overall took me about an hour and a half to finish these 8 pages, and so I have sped it up a little bit because it was quite a long video. So next up, don't steal my cord, Mr. Moo, please. Archie's trying to pull my microphone cord out, which is always handy. This next one, I had printed off some photos. I was catching up on some Project Life for this time, and so I printed off a couple of extra copies of photos, and I use the Project Life app to print my photos. I get asked that a lot, and I am going to film a separate printing video. I'll probably pop that on my main channel, QUILL. This is my second artier, messier kind of channel if you're new, but I will film a detailed video about how I make my photos this size and how I print and edit them. So I had some spare photos that kind of, they were just generic. They weren't of a particular event. They weren't of a particularly, important new milestone that he reached. They were just cute pics. So I was going through those and including some of them as well. They might not have necessarily been on that day, but they were around about that day. This, on the left-hand side, I had to add some washi tape because my books were, when I originally made them, they were wider, and I had to make them narrower because I realised that when you have so many inside this traveller's notebook insert, which is a passport-sized insert, you can't have them as wide as you wished because there's a lot of them in there. And so I had to cut some of them down, and I just folded. I really like the edge of this note paper, and so I just folded it and popped some washi over the top so that I could still get the edge in there without having to cut it off. I'm using a Pilot G2 pen. It's a nice pen, it writes well. It's not waterproof though, not waterproof. So if you plan on doing watercoloring over the top, don't. Here I don't have, I've got a lot of people have asked about if I've got a process video making these little journal inserts. I don't, but I have a junk journal class which is hopefully going to come out maybe the end of this month if I can get my wriggle on and edit the last few videos. So I will make an extra class in that, an extra lesson, sorry, in that class and show you how I made them in there. This tag is actually from a Patreon video that I filmed, and I separated it. It was made out of a clothing tag, and I just separated it because it was a little bit thick. And the idea with this Traveler's Notebook insert is that I really need it to be as thin as possible because I've already chunked it up with so many extra bits of paper and collage and photos, and so the thinner the better. I am going to film, unfortunately, I did film 2 flip through videos yesterday, and they both came out fuzzy. They're not in focus, and one of them was a 32-minute talking video. So I'm going to re-record those maybe in his nap today. I'll see if I can, and I'll put those up very soon as well. And then I'm also going to do like a recap video, my feelings on the 100-day project. It's the first year that I have taken part in it, and so I'm going to talk about my tips and tricks from just my perspective of how I got through it, and strategies if you fall behind, and that type of thing. If you've got any questions about the 100-day project, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them in that video. I might do a face-to-face chatty kind of thing, and I might even get Inkie Beard, my husband. If you don't follow him over here on YouTube, he does journaling and bullet journals and sketching and illustration and all sorts of good stuff. He's Inkie Beard, and he also did the 100-day project. He didn't quite get to the end, but he got up to, I think it was about day 70 or so. He did a big chunk of them. So here do you ever have stickers that just, you really struggle to find a way how to use them? I don't know why, but I really have trouble with food stickers. I think it's a strange thing because I scrap a lot of food in my Project Life albums, but I don't go for using food stickers. I don't know why it is. So I thought this would be a good opportunity. I'm talking about Archie's love of fruit and his new love of cherries, and so I thought it would be a good idea to use all of the strawberry stickers. So you can see here by the end of this book, insert I should say, things were getting a bit chunky, and they were a little bit hard to work on some of the pages, so I was just using a little mini bulldog clip to keep my pages together, so that I could try and work on that page and not have it fling back in my face. Going through, and I'm using the Jen Hadfield sticker book and just picking some bits and pieces. This was a day where Archie had a sleepover with his nanny, and so I thought the houses would be a good idea because you sleep in a house. Yeah, nanny. You can hear Archie in the background. Yeah, nanny had a sleepover with nanny. Exactly. And so I added a little bit of tissue paper behind there, but I didn't quite realize that it was going to blend into the background. So if I did that again, I probably would have used a different tissue paper. All right, Mr. Inkie Beard has confiscated the child and taken him for a little run outside so I can finish this voiceover. But this page got very busy, and I used my new Staedtler brush markers, which are really lovely. I've been playing around with them a bit. I did a little speed through brush lettering on my Instagram. However, on this paper, I don't think any brush marker would work. It's very porous, and it just sucked all the ink through, and so I wasn't able to get great upstrokes and downstrokes and variety in my stroke thickness. So I would recommend, if you're using those, to not use them on the flimsiest, skinniest, thinnest note paper you possibly could. Try and use them on something a little bit thicker. This one I added a little bit of paint to, and I was feeling in a yellow mood, Don't know why. And I put this little thankful sticker on because this was the day that Archie started saying tar. We've been trying really hard to teach him to say tar and please. And so he started saying tar, which was really cute. And then the next week he started saying please. So this book's really special because I've realized it has got so many first memories in it. It's got his first steps. It's got his first plane trip. It's got, what else has it got? It's got trying new foods. It's got learning new skills. It's just got so many things in it that I think in years to come, I'll be very glad to look back on. And I do, if you're new to my channel, I post a photo of every single page over on my Instagram, which is QUILL. If you want to have a closer look of any of them up there. Oh, this little one. So here I wanted to put this photo of Archie, but I kind of wanted his eye peeping through. And so I just simply punched a semicircle out of that flap, and I'm going to put the photo behind so that his eye is just peeking through. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you want to have a go at the 100-day project, giving it a go. I'll go through in my wrap-up video some hints that I would suggest to make it easier on yourself. There's some things that I could have done to make it a bit easier on myself for this project, but there's really no limit to what you can do. It all depends on how much time you want to allocate to it. I think that's the major thing, how much time per day you want to spend on the project. So this one, I had all these teeth stickers. They're in that Jen Hadfield sticker pack, and I don't know about you, but there was even more stickers. There was even more teeth. I don't go to the dentist 20 times a year. I did when I had braces and plates and had all orthodontic work being done. But I don't need that many teeth stickers. And so I decided to use them for this spread because this was the day that Archie cut 5 molars in the same day. It was a long, long day. And so I thought that the teeth were quite appropriate to use there. And this is the last letter, but then I do have a couple of extra pages that I do things to. Overall, I'm really glad that I completed this project. It's been driving me crazy that it hasn't been finished. It has been annoying me a little bit, but it's done now, and to say that I'm glad it's done is an understatement. I'm ecstatic that it's done. I definitely will repeat this process if we have children in the future, and because I think it would be a nice memento to have just after their first birthday, or maybe I might, depending on, not that we're having kids anytime soon, but it would be really nice to start maybe just on their first birthday and go from there, because that's a time where I feel like there's lots of changes and lots of exciting things to write about. So here I'm just adding kind of a filler page of sorts. Just added a cute photo of my husband and the little one, and I'm just adding a little bit over here because I haven't actually written in the book yet. No, I haven't. That it's part, like, why I decided to do it, or anything about the 100-day project. So I do that on the next couple of pages, and because in years to come, the 100-day project might not be around, and Archie might be wondering why on earth I did this. And so I thought it would be cute too, for myself as well, to include why I did this project. So then on this page, I still haven't sorted out I haven't reinstalled, I guess the word is, my typewriter ink refill. And so I wanted to type out this next section, but I didn't. I have typewriter ink, but of course I've put it in a very safe place. And that safe place, it hasn't come to mind yet. When I find it, it will get installed into my typewriter. But I do miss using the typewriter. If you watched the other process video, you probably saw some of the pages there, or some of the other flip throughs I've done, that I did use the typewriter quite a lot. So here I'm just adding a few little bits and pieces from that little container of leftover embellishments. But let me know in the comments if you have taken part in the 100-day project, what you thought of it, and also let me know if there's any questions that you have about it. It could be about the challenges that you think might arise during it. Could be about the supplies I used, anything you can think of. But yeah, I'm really glad that it's all done, and I'm sorry to spam you every day on Instagram with the photos from this journal. You and I will both be glad to see the end of those pictures. I think 100 pictures is a lot, but I'll be grateful, I think, to look back on it. I think I just need a little bit of a break. You know, when you've been doing one project for too long and you kind of, not sick of it, but you're just happy to look at other things. I'm at that phase right now. I absolutely love this book, but I'm happy to focus on some other projects and catch up on my project life. I desperately need to print photos for that. I might do that this afternoon, actually. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope Archie wasn't too loud in the background of this voiceover. You got to do what you got to do when you work from home with a little one. But don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and keep your eyes peeled for the June flip through, June-July flip through. I'll have to refilm that today or tomorrow, and that should be up in the next week or two. But until then, have a lovely week. I'm finished. Happy hands. Whoop, whoop. And I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye.